3, 2, 1, and we're live.
And we're live.
Hello, SB Natics and SB Netizens, and welcome to
Salamat Biyernes na, starring Kuya P.
and Samurai.
So yeah, this is a podcast about interesting, unique, and uncommon professions and businesses. And speaking of uncommon and interesting, sobrang interesting nitong guest natin for today/tonight. Diba? Oo. Especially for the...
Basta Biyernes.
Oo, basta Biyernes.
Alright.
Especially for the IT folks who are listening in. Very, very interesting.
Saka yung mga nasa e-games.
Yes,
May
yes.
kita nila yung what's behind the curtain.
Yes, oo. Kasi ang guest natin ngayon is isang game developer.
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. So, without further ado, let us introduce ang ating guest, Mr. Norman Olivarez.
Okay, clap, clap.
Clap. Virtual clap. Ayan, sige Norms. Tell us, yes, kahit lang, one-liner on what you do as a game developer.
Yeah, my name is Norman. I am a game developer and I've been in the local game development scene for about 10 years now. So I never strayed away, actually. What I do is a myriad of things, actually. I'll go on to this later. Career pathway is in game design. Ultimately, all across that, it's what you would, I guess, regard sa typical IT setup.
Yep.
As a full stack. That's something I can vouch na medyo nagagawa ko within the industry.
So parang di lang pala siya game development. Doon na siya focus and very diverse pa yung role mo when it comes to the industry.
Yes.
So unang tanong, yung ating paboritong tanong. Ano daw yung nickname mo as a kid?
What's your palayaw?
What's your palayaw when you were a kid?
Palayaw as a kid.
Oo.
I don't know where it came from, but my parents called me Ren.
Ren, yes.
You know, as with many kids, I guess. It's just something that, comes out of them. I don't know where it comes from, but you get told
well,
stuff.
typical Pinoy, di ba? Sabi nga nila, they name you
inuulit.
something and they call you another thing.
Tapos inuulit pa
Tapos
nila.
inuulit din. Kailangan inuulit siya, yes.
Yeah. Hindi siya Pilipino pag hindi siya inuulit.
Oo, tama. Yeah, alright. Sige.
Chinese, ano yan eh? Chinese, diba? Name. It's something we got from the...
Name. Oo nga, no?
Yeah.
That's how, when. Len. And anyway, sige.
Let that pass through.
Let that pass through. Being Ren as a kid, ito ba yung aspiration mo din? Yung job mo ngayon? Is it the dream of Ren when he grows up or when he grew up?
No, definitely not. Never even knew there was such an industry. It's something that you take for granted as a kid. You see a video game and just think, oh wow, that exists. Okay, nice. But you never think of it as something that I'm gonna grow up as a game designer. No, that's something just that's behind the curtains. You don't get to see. It's not something that gets shed light on immediately. That obvious. But I guess it's more obvious now than before. But yeah, back then it wasn't. I think it could speak in behalf of millions of kids on what they wanted to be when they were kids. You either want to dig bones up, and find a dinosaur.
Yes.
Become a paleontologist.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right?
The analogy.
You want to be an astronaut. Like the first two things that you want to be, and you get injected with something like that. Oh, you got to be a nurse, or you got to be a doctor, or you got to be
diba?
But that's the starting point. It's either you want to see the stars, or you want to dig up some bones. I don't know why. It's just fascinating things for kids. So those are that's where I started. But apparently you can't do that here in the Philippines, especially as a practical career choice. I don't know why I ended up with computer science, but that's where I ended up.
Ako, kumbaga, ma-interject ko lang, no? Kasi parang, well, same course naman tayo, di ba, during college. So, medyo relate din ako. And of course, as kids, we used to love playing video games for our audience, no? So, si Norman kasi, he's my friend since high school. And, kumbaga, he's one of my lifetime buddies until even now, we occasionally see each other. Siguro yun yung point niya is, as kids or even now as adults, no, we're on the other side of the video game industry, meaning tayo yung mga we are the consumers or not really imagining what goes behind the products that we enjoy. So ngayon we will get a hands-on look on how it really is on the other side of the spectrum, ika nga,
Behind the scenes.
behind the scenes of the products and the games that we enjoyed. Yan. So
Ako kasi hindi ako masyado gamer.
Oo.
Kaya medyo hindi ako makarelate sa...
Pero I think, kumbaga,
in one way or another.
in one way or another, di ba?
We
Kasi
played games.
if you have a mobile phone
Device.
more likely meron niyang games or one way or another, di ba? So,
That's true.
yung gaming industry ngayon, I believe really nag-boom siya,
Oo.
especially with the mobile
With the
platform.
recent SEA Games.
Oo,
meron
di
na
ba?
rin included yung ano.
Oo, naging part na siya ng
MOB.
Oo, di ba? Parang naging tournament na siya or naging official competition na rin siya that we haven't seen before nung panahon natin. Mga 90s kids, di ba? That's parang something new to us. Yeah. Pero sa mga bagong generation or mga Gen Zs, normal thing na sa kanila na ganyan.
Sige, Norms, parang anong inspiration mo para to pursue this career?
Yes.
Way back, you said that it was 10 years
10
ago.
years ago,
So,
oo.
college pa ako nun eh.
Oo, and kumbaga, you're still doing it right now. So what keeps you
What
inspired?
drives you?
Yeah, interesting question. I guess it helps that the industry itself is interesting in itself. It's an advantage, definitely, and it's an evolving industry. And it's also an evolving art form, so to speak. Because games right now, they are more than what they were, 10 years back.
Yeah. Agree.
Before you have a box, you buy it for an egregious amount of money, and then you just let it sit on a corner beside your TV, and that's it. That's where the game is, right?
Yes.
Now we have cell phones.
Right.
It's everywhere. It's even more accessible. Katulad ng point kanina, it's even more accessible now. And then now what that does is that the consciousness of people in terms of game isn't just something that is like a speciality. It's more of an integration to our lives. Without going too much on the philosophical aspect of it, being a gamer doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
For me,
Everyone is a
some people
gamer
take
already.
pride. Yeah, some people take pride on the word gamer. Like, I'm a gamer. Maybe that meant something 20 years back.
Yes.
But now, like, who's a gamer, right?
Everyone is.
Everyone is.
I think, I might be a bit shaky on the statistics, but there's a sum of people that are bringing in money to the games industry that aren't the typical gamers that we would regard. And these are old people.
Business
These
people.
are, stay-at-home moms or salary people, just yung career people
Yep.
that take 5 minutes of their lives to play an idle game, and the mere action brings in money into the industry, and that's why it's as big as it is now.
Right.
So it's just everywhere. So, and with that, I guess ubiquity comes before. Yung trajectory lang ng games is like sobrang finite lang. You have a console and that's it. You have a PC and that's it. Now, the avenue for games is like widespread. You can go mobile, you can go VR, you can go AR, you can go PC, you can go the existing platforms,
Right.
or you can invent another platform.
Yep.
I don't know how. Pero there's a multi-million-dollar industry backing that, and they can definitely do that, in a snap. Where I'm getting at is game development is such a multifaceted industry. Pero largely, besides the business side, it's a creative one.
Right.
And with creative people and technical people, you mash them together, you find other avenues to express dun sa vein ng game development. So you have games that dialogues, you have games that don't have dialogues but still play great. You
Right.
have games for the blind. You have games where you scream at the,
Mm-mm.
scream at the phone para lang tumalon yung character mo.
Oo.
Like, it gets creative every time. So, yung nature na yun ng game development is something that's really attractive to me, and
Yep.
that's why for like what the past 10 years of my career, I've never strayed. I've never even considered maybe I do this type of job or that type of job. No, there's a lot of avenues I can swerve into,
Mm.
and it's really interesting. I guess be a testament to that. I have shifted 3 times already. So I began as QA game tester,
Mm.
and then I did that for about a year. After that, I told myself, yeah, I really want to get my hands dirty in game development. So I shifted and I transitioned to game programming. I
Mm.
did that for about 7 years.
Wow.
And then after that, when I gained enough experience, I was offered an opportunity to lead. And with that opportunity, I was able to direct and design. And
Wow.
so from that sport, sa ako nag-branch out to game design and direction. So yeah, just keeps getting interesting every time.
Mm.
There's no dull moment until you let it
Oo.
be
So,
dull. So
yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Yan yung since kumbaga we're both IT people, no? In a way, yan yung dream job natin. 'Di ba? Kasi parang as IT people, we are heavily involved with computers, programming, and video games is a major part of our life, to be honest. 'Di ba? And for me as an IT person, parang inisip ko na ang saya siguro maging game developer or in the game industry. Kasi you sabi mo kanina, it's not just about the games itself, the product itself. More of it's a creative, 'di ba? Kaya we have indie games. 'Di ba? Yung mga unrestricted by big corporations, they can do whatever they want with their games. I really appreciate those guys who are putting in the effort to produce games like that or platforms like that. No, pero kung let's say if you were talking to someone who wants to also get into that industry, ano yung pwede mong ma-share sa kanya? Where could that person start?
I guess it helps that you play games. Like you're a
Yep.
primary consumer of the thing you want to create.
Mhm.
Because that's where the knowledge comes from. That's where the insight comes from. That's where your fuel comes from. Kumbaga. So I wasn't able to mention earlier, but me personally, I took up computer science as like a safety net. Any industry has computers.
Yep.
Like I don't know. When I graduate, back when I was in college, I actually didn't know what to do with my life. So I took the safest thing there was. That was not nursing. Kasi baliw yung mga magulang natin sa medical courses natin.
Yes,
So,
'di ba? Oo, typical
yeah,
Pinoy.
may kipag-away pa yan.
Oo,
Pero
'di ba?
for me, I was like, not really my thing. So now, being surrounded by 2 younger sisters that are medical graduates.
Yeah, sa medical
One's
field.
a registered nurse, one's a dentist.
Yeah.
Crying out loud. Like now,
They fell into
I'm
that.
finding
Oo,
interest
'di ba?
in the but way back, I don't know, maybe it was me rebelling or whatever, but I
Oo.
really didn't want to. So I told myself I'll get the safest thing that was not a medical course. So
Mhm.
I took up that. But actually, before that, I was at that time trained to believe that my actual primary course na yung gusto ko talaga kunin was not practical, which now I regret. So I wanted to take up fine arts because I draw a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, yeah.
So now I still do illustrations and conservatory music. If my hair doesn't says it, say it. I'm into playing music a lot. So I brushed off, said I'll take up computer science. But 3 years in, like mag-graduate na ako, still didn't know what to do until a friend of mine told me, may ano ka na ba? May pag-internship ka na ba?
Mhm.
Like, no, I don't even know where. So I try Game Law.
Game
There's
Loft,
no
yes.
more Game Law studio here in the Philippines. They closed down around 2013, but the main company is still alive. It's a French company, and it's found all over the globe, and it's still making games. But yeah, at the time there was here in Makati. So I ended up not going for internship doon, pero Game Loft ended up as my first company, my first job as a QA. Just rolled from there. So it was an interesting journey, to say the least. If I would advise someone who want to get into the industry, play games. And that's not going to be hard. It's
Yep.
going to be enjoying that for sure. Find what you like about the games that you play. Hanapin mo lang, ang saya, ang dami yan. There's a never-ending list of games to,
Yeah. There's
get
a
into.
game for everyone.
And then, after that, now you know what got you into the industry. Now, pick your trade. When I say trade, you can either be a programmer or a game tester or a game designer or as a sound engineer or project manager
Wow.
or an artist. And artists are either may subgroups pa yan, pero yung main niya is you're either a 2D artist or a 3D artist. Or may specialty, an animator of either 2D or 3D or both. So those are the avenues that you could go into if you want to consider getting into the game development industry. And pick your trade. Which route do you think you can, I guess, for starter, start? Baga may boost pa. So are you into art? Do you have prior experience drawing or digital art creation? Maybe it's for you. If not, and you just want to be in the industry, a point of entry normally is being a game designer. Game tester. So that's yun yung common point of entry. Game designers are normally not an entry level job.
You have to have experience din eh.
Yeah.
You're gonna design it.
Tsaka kasi, either that or you have a portfolio of your own doing on your own accord, on your own time. Gumawa ka ng things to show that you can design.
Right.
There's a lot of it. So, currently, I'm in that realm. Shifted from programming to designing. So,
Designing na, right?
Yun yung advice like if you want to start, or if you have prior experience in programming, or if you don't have prior experience in programming, but you are interested to learn how to code, there's a plethora of resources out there for you to learn how to code. Pick your language, either code in Python, C#, C++. Pick your poison. And if that is interesting to you, and I guess that's an avenue you can explore.
Right. So interesting pala no, kasi parang initially we thought to be in the game development scene, you have to have like technical skills or background skills. Yung pala, you can enter. So even though for someone who isn't in the, let's say, IT or computer science, they can still get into the industry. Kasi marami pala siyang...
maging gamer ka lang, tapos mag-test ka lang ng
diba?
games.
Ang main requirement mo lang talaga is the passion, di ba? Yung
to have the
talaga interest mo.
That's
nice. Yeah. So, yung mga nakikinig sa atin right now, di ba? That's good news for you guys if you want to be in the gaming industry. No? So, regardless kung ano yung course mo, kasi sabi nga ni Norman, di ba? There are plenty of resources. You just have to scale up kung gusto mo talagang pumasok, or you can enter into a different parang area of the gaming industry. Nice.
Yeah, and it's, when you're in the industry itself, I find that in my trade, it's easy to swerve. It's like, you're coming from a non-game development background. Once you're in the industry now, you can just, go for internal hiring and say, I want to learn this and that. And normally companies do give incentives and do give training for people who want to further their career, even if it's a tangent of what they're doing. So, you want to code, you don't know how to code right now, but you're interested. Some companies would even give you credits to learn this stuff from Udemy, from Harvard.
Yep. Kasi before hindi yan accessible to us, no, like yung mga ganyang online trainings. Diba? So siguro 10, 20 years before to be in that kind of industry, kailangan mo talaga ng some kind of training or expertise. Pero right now kasi
and
you can
see now, may mga ano na rin, may mga colleges na rin, may mga universities na rin that offer game development
Oh, yeah.
courses, which at the time I would have killed for like.
Di ba? Yeah.
I'm
Alam mo kung merong
gonna
ganun,
shift.
men, sa
Alam
back
na.
in our alma mater, kung merong ganun, I would have taken it
Yeah.
as well. Kaya lang kasi, I think na-offer siya
Exactly.
after we graduated na eh.
Oo.
Di ba? So,
But there's still
and
time.
There's still
I've actually,
time.
talaga. And I've actually, in my time in the industry, I've actually taught in a university already. So I was like, you guys are lucky, really
Oh,
lucky. And
true.
I guess that's where my passion comes from naman pagdating sa teaching kasi I didn't have this before. Now, if I'm
Yes.
gonna feed you information, might as well be, the best information out there to help
Right.
you,
First-hand experience.
Oh.
foot on the door.
Yan. Kasi si Paul, si Kuya P. Si Kuya P nagturo din yan. So he can relate to that kind of kumbaga yung sharing of information and with the information na sobrang readily available to us no right now. Even sige Kuya P.
Naalala ko lang kasi yung si Elon Musk, I think he started coding games.
Oo.
Di ba?
Right.
Bago siya naging
Apple.
icon of his industry.
Right, oo.
Yeah.
Si Tito Elon.
Si Tito. Mga damitan mo nga parang
Si
Elon.
Oo, di ba? Ganito lang ang pormahan ni Elon eh. Ano lang siya eh. He's a simple guy. Wow, parang close eh, no? Ayan, sige. So,
Kailan kayo uling nag-usap?
kanina lang. Ginising niya ako. So, may interview ka. Okay, Tito. Oo. Ayan. Alright, next question.
Okay, so, Norms, what are those, do you have any misconception pagdating sa game industry na parang, old folks think that, that's a waste of time.
Oo, di ba?
Diba?
Mga
Because,
natin.
parang rooted na sa kanila yung dapat may titulo ka.
Oo, why you not a doctor?
Why you not a doctor yet?
Okay, sige.
Ayan.
Yes,
Yung mga
yes,
misconceptions
yes.
about
A few
the
things.
industry. Ayan. Let's debunk them.
I guess one misconception is that yung nabanggit ko kanina, if you don't have a degree, you can't. That's false. I've known people besides coming from a different background. Like I know a very good coder na galing sa civil engineering. As in, this is in the game industry. And I know someone who never graduated pero now leads a team.
Wow.
So it's actually the practical skills that matter more. And like I said, it's besides the practical skills, you would need to have consumed and understand enough concepts in game development and the games itself as a consumer. And that's what matters to these companies. They want to make games for those who play. So why would you get someone who doesn't know the product?
Right.
So yeah, degrees are secondary. Actually, I've been striving, I think, to get like an international gig like a year back. And one of the HRs got in touch with me and said, you might want to rearrange your CV because the way I put it is my personal information, my educational background, my soft skills, and then my experiences. Kasi mahaba yung sa experiences. What they want to do is put my experiences up after my personal information, and then yung educational background is way in the back. Sometimes
It doesn't
okay nga
matter.
lang daw na wag na i-mention.
Right.
Experience matters, or where you're coming from matters. What you know right now matters more than where you graduated, the addresses of people who you would consider contacts. So, yun. I guess that's one misconception. So in terms of the educational background. So where matakot, just if you like playing games and you're interested to be in the industry, first step is play, and then do your stuff. Like burn hours. Another misconception. I guess this rings to me louder now. I guess kasi I've been active in looking for opportunities here and abroad when it comes to game design.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know what game design is. Like even companies, sometimes it would be a misnomer. So for the people who are listening right now, if I could break it down, normally art and design is synonymous. Like that's like if you say design equals art.
Yep.
In other industries, maybe yes, sure, but in game development, they're separate things. So
Mhm.
if you're an artist, you do the visual aspect of it. You do the visual art and anything that like the 3D, 2D, or VFX, that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But if you're a designer, it means that you are the engineer of the experience. Okay?
Mhm.
Mm.
So you can either be a technical designer who knows how to code and, basically, papabayaan nila dyan. Ito yung engine, paglaruan mo. Just
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you to craft the experience that you think should be experienced by the player.
Yep.
Magbahala. And there are designers that are paper heavy, as I would call it. Sila yung nasa spreadsheet nagbabalanse kung gaano
Mm.
kahirap yung game,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yung loot, yung percentage, or
Yep.
ngayon uso yung mga gacha games or game of
Yeah.
chances. So
Mm.
yung balancing din ng chances ng pag lumabas yung certain pag nagpulo ka, mga ganun.
Yep.
So
Usually, 'di ba, to
may
just
ganun naman.
to kumbaga explain yung gacha games, ito yung games that offer you some kind of reward for completing a task, or basically if you want to get more rewards, you really have to invest in that game. And kumbaga hindi siya you cannot choose the reward, tama ba? It just comes up
Yep, yep.
na randomly, depende dun sa
Yeah.
configuration ng kanilang yeah.
Yes,
That's
definitely. To
kumbaga
name
just
names, I guess, Genshin Impact,
yeah, yeah.
Fate, Grand Order, Arc Knight, gacha games. So yeah, popularized by the Japanese people. That's why it's called the
Mhm.
gacha. So
Got
from the gashapon, yung capsule toys,
yung
right? So
parang
you don't
yeah,
know what
yung
you
tag
would
dito
get.
yung
Yeah,
dispenser
yeah.
ng toys
That's
sa
my
loob,
toy.
yeah.
Yes. Naglag ka ng
Yeah. The gacha.
I don't know how much, 200 yen, 500 yen,
Oo, you won't
and
know
then you
what you
get
get.
something. You don't
Yung
know what
parang
it
nasa
is.
siya,
Yeah.
nasa
Well.
itlog. Di ba yun yung container, parang
Mhm.
egg siya.
Yep.
Tapos may toy sa loob.
Design, when it comes to game development, is crafting experiences. So you're technically a planner. I mean, by definition, designers are planners. I guess what separates
Right.
the two from just being a planner and the game designer or a designer is that when you say design, there's like a dash, or it implies that you are employing and some sort of technical knowledge to it, as opposed
Right.
to just being a planner, plan, you schedule, you balance things out, or
Mhm.
account the things. So yeah, that's what a game designer does. No, kasi kung Google with that, makikita nyo yung Shigeru Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto is known for creating Mario. He is a game designer.
Yes.
Si tawag dito, Yoshi P from Final Fantasy Online, game designer.
Mhm.
Nasamba ng mga naglalaro actively. Sino pa? Game
Yep.
designer si Kat. Si tawag dito, Death Stranding. Tawag dito.
Yeah, see the guy with the glasses. What's his name?
Yeah, I feel ashamed na nawawala sa
Forgot.
isip ko ngayon. Na
Ako
nasobrahan
din
yata ako sa
I
topic.
feel ashamed.
Yeah,
That dude that every
yeah,
gamer knows.
yep, lalabas na lang yan. Those are the game designers now. Hideo Kojima, that was,
Hideo Kojima,
yep,
yes.
yung mga sikat na tawag dito, game designers that people might want to know about.
And so, sige, I think we
So
also
that,
tackled yung conception kanina na you have to have a technical background or degree to get in that. And we just debunked that na, sabi mo nga, di ba, you don't
it
really have to
helps, but not
graduate.
required.
Yan, oo. Kasi the practical skills is, yun yung talagang tinitingnan ng companies if you can really handle it. Regardless of your background, if you can handle the task. So, why not? And then, sabi mo nga din kanina, no, like with most companies then, they offer up trainings naman once you're in the company. Parang to get you up to speed kung ano yung kailangan mong skills so you can start or you can continue with your career na.
Yes, so I think as experience go, they are more willing to give you that boost when the things are scaling because game
Right.
development industry, especially here in the Philippines, it's a small world. As in, lumipat ka ng company, may makikita ka doon dalawang nakatrabaho mo na before. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a really, really small industry and practically almost familiar faces in there. for sure.
Mm.
So if hindi ka, I guess as a company, if you're not willing to upskill people, you're gonna be left with people who don't know much or would need more
Right.
of a boost fund. So you just I guess it's practical for them to just invest in the people that they have right now. And
True.
yeah, and it just helps the industry at large. Kasi some people would go and find other opportunities elsewhere and yung advancement nila from before, just apply din nila sa next company. So,
Mhm.
that's how it goes. I think that's experience.
Right. And yeah, and speaking of experiences and how to get into industry, in your 10-year experience in that industry, ano yung mga naging challenges mo and how were you able to overcome them?
Personally speaking, I'm not as prolific a programmer as my
Mhm.
counterparts, my colleagues,
Mhm.
and I've seen monsters of programmers. As in, I don't
Programmers.
know what they eat for
They eat
breakfast.
code for
Uh,
morning. They eat the code.
hindi na yung code ko nakain, compiler na, hindi ko alam eh. Pero, tawag dito,
Ano na, human
uh,
compiler na sila.
yeah. And I guess for me, that's where I had a hard time. Because going personal here, like I said, I finished college without that much passion. So I didn't really take
Mhm.
it as serious as some other people. Therefore, there were information that I should have had more access to or more interest in while learning that pero pinorgo ko yun kasi masyado interest. I just want to get it over with, you know. And then when I'm in
Right.
the industry, I find myself lacking. So I had like
Mm.
serious self-doubts, serious
Mhm.
insecurities. So I guess
Right.
yun, I had to overcome. I hated math. I took up I took up calculus but rights. The first one, we had two. And then I find myself doing a job that involves more than anything,
A
friggin'
lot
math.
of math.
So, yep, math and
And
physics,
calculus.
especially
Yes.
yeah.
And
And
physics.
because you're dealing with games that are physics based.
Mm,
Suddenly, your
right.
best friends, you should be best friends with Newton, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I found it ridiculous, but at the same time, napapatawa ko in a
Mm.
sense, what did I get myself into?
At least, kaya di ba, at least
Bukod
parang
ko,
na-realize mo na, uy, nagamit ko yung napag-aralan ko nung
Which I
college.
hate.
yeah,
I actually used
I'm
what I
forced to
learned.
love this thing. I'm forced to
Di
love
ba?
this thing now. Because if
Yeah.
I don't, I'd be forced to, get out of the door, which I didn't see as an option.
Right.
So I had to
Mm.
strive for that. Tapos, let alone, you're working with a tight deadline. And
Yan. Yep.
the industry, I'm not gonna no cap, kumbaga, no lie about it. I'm not gonna lie about it. It's hard. Like crunch time
Mm.
in terms of game development is nuts. As in, but now it's improving. People are more conscious now. Yeah, there are more people coming in from the business side to help with project management. So a lot of companies now are
Yeah.
employing
Implementation, launching.
yeah yung agile methodology, and it helps a
Yep.
lot. Scrum helps a lot. It's a marrying expertise, and that's one of the things that I
Mm-hmm.
find interesting because you don't even have to have had the experience as a leader in terms of game development, but you can have the
Yep.
fundamentals to help improve the process. So I guess yung difficulties that I wasn't ready for that kind of environment. Like it was so demanding
Mm-hmm.
as in. And then in terms of skills, when I was in Japan, it was a different level. I mean, you're working with people who
Mm.
it was
Very
the
time conscious.
birthplace of this. So there was that
Oo.
pressure. Uh,
Graceland ng gamers.
okay. So I guess it's more of an introspective thing, I guess, for me. So yun yung share ko, I guess. Like how
Mm.
yung level of shock ko, kumbaga, sa how things
Mm-hmm.
work. If you're someone like me who won't claim to be a master of something, but find yourself in this particular situation, just be
Right.
ready and find where you want to kung saan mo gusto kumapit. Tapos galingan mo din. Strive ka doon. Like, if you
Mm-hmm.
make mistakes, that's fine.
Baga pick pick a specific
Yeah.
niche kumbaga and then just
Oh,
be the best on that.
yeah.
Oh.
Or strive to be the best in that one, better yourself every time. Kumbaga. So I've had my fair share of screw ups in my career, so it gets better. It gets better, especially kapag susukin mo na yung knowledge, tapos makita mo, okay, mas may alam na ako ngayon than like 2 years back.
Yes,
And that's
oo.
rewarding. Yeah,
Right.
that's really rewarding.
Oo. Tama. When you look back, this is how far I've come so far.
Mhm.
'Di ba? It just pushes you to continue.
Mm.
Tama.
There's a parang philosophy in management wherein also Japanese. Pero I
Yan,
check, 'di
oo.
ba, Kaizen?
Kaizen, yes.
Continuously improving yourself.
Oo, tama.
In any industry naman.
Right.
Parang for our listeners, ayan. Parang you need to strive to develop your skills and your knowledge.
Oo.
And then when it comes to especially those industries na medyo
Yeah,
technical.
technical. Like
Mm.
this one.
Medyo yeah, like this one in the construction industry. You
Mm.
need kasi nagde-develop ang technology. So
Right.
you need to develop also your skills.
Mm.
Mm.
Lalo na sa ganyang industry in the
Oo,
game
fast
dev.
moving kayo eh.
Oo, 'di ba kasi every now and then someone thinks up of a new idea, and then if it works, everybody will copy it.
Oo.
No, so kumbaga basically everyone has to be on their edge
Edge.
lagi. Kailangan lagi updated yung skills kasi I think the gaming industry is much faster than let's say someone from corporate na we use the same system for a few years, and then after a few years saka lang kapalit. I think for the gaming industry you have to every month you have to think where the competition is. At kumbaga ano nang ginagawa nila, what kind of games are they pushing out, and how can we be at the same level. So kailangan i-upgrade din yung skills of the people who are behind the products as well.
Game development has this idea of an engine. So normally, especially for bigger companies, like, there's not much movement pagdating yung sa ganung scale pagdating sa mga smaller companies, especially those who are doing casual games. Pero for the bigger companies,
Yep.
they hire people to edit the engine every now and then. So you can expect there's something new. So if I remember correctly, Ubisoft is now developing their Snow engine or iniiba nila. And there's also CD Projekt Red, who is now in partnership with Unreal 5. And yung developers nila is editing Unreal 5 to fit their what they need. So it's gonna be like a mutated version of that. The programmers alam ko, Red Engine, which is what they use for The Witcher 3.
Witcher.
Who are taking
There,
that
if I'm
element.
not mistaken, yun ang nila, proprietary engine nila. Meaning
Yes,
they own it.
Red Engine. Yep.
Yep, tama.
That's
Red
it.
engine. Sa kanila talaga.
Pero
They
yan, yung
develop it.
engineers nun ay tasked to edit or improve or tweak Unreal Engine 5. You can only expect great things from that. So yeah, in terms of movement, the bigger companies are doing it. Naughty Dog is one prime example as well. They're heading the ICE team, which is basically it's a shared engine for other holdings. So Insomniac uses it, Naughty Dog uses it, Santa Monica uses it. So movement in that front is surely moving, so to speak.
Yes, fastly. Very fast. How about your success stories mo in that game, in any particular project, or you can kumbaga, take pride on. You don't have to name the project if you don't like it.
I guess I take immense amount of relief and sense of accomplishment. I'm trying to see myself right now and before. Right now, I'm taking projects as a lead role, and I could never have imagined myself,
Nice.
like from way back that I would be taking on something like this. Because I like specifics. I like the one as a programmer, I guess, and I don't know if it's the same with everyone else. Pero yun nga, ako, I have a lot of insecurities when it comes to programming, yet I program still.
Yep.
And one of the things that I take, yung sense of accomplishment, is when I make something work. You know, the kick na, oh my God, I was able to do this and that and make the character do this and that. And that's like your small wins na yun. It goes a long way.
Yep.
And then when done in a project na innovative, it's an extra ecstatic yung feeling. Pag, like, for example, the one I did with
Incentive.
Bandai in Japan.
Bandai.
I was there for like 6 months, and we were partnered up with Bandai. So they launched this project called Heroes, And what it is Bandai, it's a toy company, as with
Yeah.
other things. So they are a toy company and they are a game development company. As a toy
May
company,
games na
they
rin pala sila.
released Bandai Namco. They did Tekken.
Yeah. Tekken, yes.
So Bandai as a toy company released a project where basically cards, right, in booster packs, similar, not unlike Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, right? But the difference is, so it's a card pack, so may rarity siya, but you get to draw on the card. So there's like a 19 by 19 grid there that the kids can draw on using whatever materials they have, color, and yeah, so basically gagawa ka ng pixel hero. So there's like
Yeah.
head, torso, kamay, legs.
Right. Oo.
Design ka, bahala ka. And then on the game development side, where I was involved in, we did a program where it can scan the card and your 2D drawing will become a 3D hero inside the
Become
game. It's a
3D.
controllable
Wow.
hero sa game. And yung
It's a nice concept.
yeah, very nice. Yung mga challenges, technical challenges there, figuring out how to average the color, making sure na kapag naging siya, what is in the 2D should make sense as a 3D. Yung algorithm parang makaproduce ka ng 3D na gano'n. What if dun sa sa drawing mo, nilagyan mo siya ng parang sungay na gano'n. Pag 3D mo siya, normally yung way mo pag 3D mo is ito yung first layer mo, tapos i-voxelize mo lang siya. Like, parang Minecraft. So magkakaroon siya ng volume pag ganun.
Yeah.
So kaya ang tawag sa voxel.
Yep.
It's not a pixel, it's a voxel. May volume na siya. So this is your drawing. Magkakaroon siya ng ibang dimension. Like what happens to the sungay? Madadrag din ba siya doon sa volumizing na gano'n? Like may makapal ka lang na gano'n dito? Or do you make an algorithm such that pag nakakita ka ng sumobra dito, ma-recognize niya na sungay, ilalagay niya yung dito lang sa gitna. And these parts, wala.
Yeah.
Like sa 3D part na dito ka lang magkakaroon. Like, those things, those are interesting problems that require creative/technical solutions. I never thought I would do, but since the problem is there, you have to find a way to do it. And it really, it's an itch. You're seeing something that doesn't look right, but there should be a solution for that.
Right.
And it becomes a ticket. It becomes something na inassign mo sa sarili mo, ikaw bahala dyan. Pinoblema mo yan. So, it's just a bunch of those that when done in succession, as a milestone, there's a kick to it. Like, we were able to do this monstrosity of an app kasi we had those small wins na pinanalo mo.
Kaya nga.
So, with your experience in the game development norms, I know you're a teacher also. And if you could be a keynote speaker in a international conference, what would you tell your industry per se? That the industry should stop doing this and start doing that.
I don't know. It's kind of hard because sa experience ko, it's never a size fits all for the things game development. You're in a very unique situation every time. Depends on the project, depends on the people, depends on where you are. So I can't say for sure what I can bring as a keynote speaker, standardizing everything. What should be a yes, what should be a no. I guess if besides having a pointed standardization, if I were to be a keynote speaker, I would instead just encourage other people, because it's, like I said, kanina, game development is a very multidisciplinary industry. And the more people we get into it, the more interesting the products can get. Like, we don't know. Like, we can evolve it. So mechanical engineers may be able to help us invent something to up the experience, or the automotive industry may be able to partner up with game development such that cars now have games, playable games. I don't know. These things, you just get everyone involved, because that's the trajectory. We're transcending the trend of us experiencing the world outward. without
Yep.
going too philosophical again, outward experiences, when I say that, it's I want to experience running, I will run. We're now
Mm.
in a place and time in our history that we can now enjoy things inward, which means stimulations. So controversial as it is with some people, pero it helps a lot, especially with people who are disabled, who are not able to go somewhere
Right.
because of restrictions. Accessibility is one big thing when it comes to this, and games have evolved na ang trajectory niya is to service that front in
Mm.
entertainment and technology, where
Right.
you have hands, you want to punch someone, just play a game. You don't go out there and,
Oo, doon ka magbubuhos ng
di
galit
ba?
mo, right?
Di ba?
Oo, and
Like you want to
you can
express
even
your love,
play, let's say, tennis on, oh, di ba? You can play tennis
di
inside
ba?
of your house. Di ba?
And
You want to
and there
simulate
was
war?
no,
Oo, di ba? You want
di ba?
to,
Exactly,
oo,
di ba?
to experience war. Di ba?
Oh,
There's,
if I could
kumbaga,
add
the
the
immersion is there.
misconception, yeah, and if I could add with the misconception, it's
Di ba?
that tawag dito, games are gateways to violent. Para kasi ano di ba, yung old thinking na games equals violence. Violence
Yep,
is
yep.
is the depiction because it's the easiest way to elicit excitement from people. It's the primitive
Right.
part
Mm-mm.
of the brain where you go
Oo,
to war, where you
right.
shoot someone, violence, much
Oo.
as movies would say.
Yep,
That's the primitive
agree.
part of it. It's the easiest way to, bring out that dopamine, give yourself some,
Oo.
yeah. And I say this because one major part of game design is psychology. And
Yep.
if you don't know how your player will react, you might not be able to design something as to elicit a reaction na gusto mong maramdaman niya.
Right.
That's why some games are effective
Mm-hmm.
and some games aren't. And those effective ones are the ones who are designed with psychology in mind. And I go back now. Games that have violence do not sprout violence in real life. They simulate violence
Yep,
because that's the easiest way to induce
I
that
agree.
sort of reaction from you. Now, it gets blamed for sure because there's a lot of highly violent
Mm-hmm.
games out there to serve that fantasy. But
Yep.
you know, we have been in this situation where we're stuck at home, have been playing more video games than ever, and yet we
Yes.
see less violence, right?
True.
So it's indirectly proportional, it's inverse. So
Right.
that's one big misconception right there.
To add to that na nasabi mo yung video games bring violence, I think the reality is that the people or the person involved are already violent. It just so happens na they also like the violence game and kumbaga yun lang yung nakita siguro from someone's perspective.
Yeah.
Or that's their way to release that energy
Mm.
out of them or their excitement.
Di ba?
Kasi wala sila sa tunay na buhay. No?
Yes. Oo.
Yeah.
So,
Kumbaga there's
Exactly.
already something wrong with the people
iba
involved.
find that on workouts naman, di ba?
Oo.
So,
Hindi
Exactly.
nila
mentally,
ma-release.
mentally
Uh,
stimulating naman dun sa
Right,
iba.
oo. Kasi ako, to be
yeah,
honest, I
'cause
play a lot of violent video games. Even as a kid, tambay ako
exactly
sa
those.
com shop eh. So, you can hear me, oh, barilan, di ba? But I turned out to be fine. Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, it's not the video games
Or
that
so you
are
think.
wrong. Siguro, or so you think, di ba? Ha? Di ba ganun? Di ba?
Biglang nagka-dark.
Pero di ba, kumbaga, I haven't committed to any crime, di ba? Kumbaga, the video game itself is not the wrong thing here, di ba? There's already something wrong. It just so
If you can
happened
play,
na they also play.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can play violent video games
Yun lang yung nakita
24/7 and
nila.
still maintain like being an upstanding citizen. No problem,
True.
right? I
Di ba?
mean, you go ahead and
Oo.
play Tetris 4 days straight. You don't see those people playing Tetris stacking up boxes in random, you know.
Di ba? True. Saka
Yeah.
to add din, di ba, if you ever watch The Office, 'Di ba may time doon na naglalaro sila ng Call of Duty yata sa office nila.
Mhm.
So yun, kumbaga they use it as bonding moment nila,
Outlet.
'di ba? Nag-ano sila, naglalaro sila inside the office, which is supposedly
Not allowed.
you're not allowed, pero it's a show. So anyway,
Norms, what do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Are you
yes.
still in the game industry? Do you want to build
Yeah,
Yeah.
your own
Meron ka
business
ng
in
own company.
your own company? Do you want to
yeah, for sure.
inspire more young adults? Mm-hmm.
I guess inspiring people isn't really like the first thing that comes into mind. I hope
Mm-hmm.
that in the things that I do or when I teach, it's secondary. It's a byproduct of
Yep.
because of the effort that you do or the time that you put in and the experiences and knowledges that you think are awesome and you share it with them. Yun yung byproduct mo. And it's never, at least to
Yep.
me, it's never like, I'm gonna do this because it's all inspire. So yeah, it's just that. And in terms of the trajectory when it comes to career wise, 5 years from now, I don't know. I really have no idea. I just want to keep doing what I do, and if I
Got it.
manage to get the approval of people who will give me more of an influence when it comes to the development of something, then
Yep.
I have a lot in the bag that I can share with them, ideas
Right.
and other things that I will share with them. I'm not shy on that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So it was my dream to make my own studio for sure. And it still is, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. I guess I'm not in the state of mind where that's my priority, but it's there. It's
Mhm.
there. Also, currently, I am just waiting for my documents. I'll be actually going to Japan in a month or two.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so continuing my work there as a programmer, pero aiming for that game design tenure. So yeah, hoping for the best.
We also hope for the best for
Oo.
you. Kasi that mecca of gaming
Yes, yun nga,
industry.
Graceland of the video game industry.
Parang
Not to
I-
not to
Even as
take shots.
mhm.
It has its perks, game development in Japan, but it also comes with a caveat as well. I don't know. I'm gonna try it to discover why, pero they have their own
Mhm.
thing going on there. Like a lot of games that they like, I don't know, maybe somewhere around 50% or some 60%, maybe even 40% of the games that some huge percent the games are being produced in Japan
mm,
are not released elsewhere. So they have this thing going on
right.
there,
Mm.
much like music. They
Mm,
have their own world there.
mhm.
If you're a consumer of Japanese media, you will be familiar with some artists having releases that are not accessible to us. Kahit nasa YouTube siya, nakalagay
Mm,
doon,
yep.
it's not accessible to
Yep.
your country. They have
Yep.
some restrictions when it comes to licenses. They're one of the most stringent, and they're one of the most. I don't want to say unwilling, but they don't explore localization as often as other countries do, translating their work in English, kumbaga, so as to be accessible to other countries. So to be there, to work there, to learn. But yeah, it does have some caveats. I guess that's one misconception. Japanese games have their own things. So yeah, it's a unique one for sure. I wouldn't laud it
Yep.
as like it's the best thing ever. I'm not saying it's the worst thing ever as well. It's just that it's
Yeah.
balances
Kumbaga,
out.
it's another stepping stone for you sa career mo. You will be going to a place or to a country na really embraces that kind of industry. Kasi dito sa Pinas, let's face
That's
it,
for sure.
hindi pa
That's for sure.
we are more of a consumer. We're not really into development or what. So for you, that's a big thing. Like you said, maybe not the best thing, but a big thing. Lalo na you will be going there
Mhm.
really soon. So if you could go back in time as
Young Ren.
as a young Ren, ano yung ma-advise mo sa kanya being now you're in that position if you were able to talk to a younger version of yourself? ano yung
Will
magiging
you ask him to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or
uh,
Dogecoin?
Play more games. Like it helps
play more games.
if you get to know the product more. I'm not saying don't
Mhm.
listen to your mother. I'm just saying if you're gonna play games, play more.
Mhm.
Yep.
Also, I was playing too safe. Like I'm
Mhm.
thankful
Mm,
that I've chosen the path of computer science to be able to learn how to code in college
right.
for sure. Pero I think I'm curious to find out what if I took the art route. What if that was my entry point to this? What would have been, what would have been the experience? So I wouldn't
Yep.
say advice. No, take art instead. No, I'm just saying calculate your safety more. Take risks,
Mm,
risks more,
calculated risk.
and
Yeah.
be accountable to those risks for sure. Not just
Tama,
take
tama.
risks. Na wala lang. You know, you have to be aware of what you're
Mm,
going into so that if it goes south, you know your exits. If and you have your rainy day bag, you know what to do. Kumbaga.
siguro yung magiging future kid ni Norms will be so lucky.
Oo.
Sabihin niya, Dad, can I play games? No, play more. Definitely,
Go
but
to
play
your
more.
room and play
Oo, di
more.
ba? Sabihin niya,
Don't go
what are
out
you
then
doing
after.
outside? Go to your room and play games. Baliktad na.
Some alternate
Baliktad
universe.
na. Oo, di ba? So, kasi tayo, being
Oo.
raised in 90s, mga with strict parents, di ba? So, more of different
Oo.
yung
Go
upbringing
outside
natin.
and play.
Pag nahuli ka na, naglalaro ka lang, yari ka. Tapos sabihin mo,
Kaka-cellphone mo yan.
oo, ka-cellphone mo, kaka-computer mo yan, di ba? Pero kumbaga I believe moving forward
Mm.
we can encourage yung kids. It's not about just playing anymore. Eh. It's about parang experiencing different stuff that is not currently available to us. Kasi
Mm.
that's yun yung one thing good about games. Eh. You get to like sabi mo
Mm.
kanina, if you want to experience how it is to be like in a war, you can do
Mm.
so. Pwede ka if you want to play tennis
Mm.
and it's rainy outside, you can do so, 'di ba? It's all about the immersion. Hindi na lang siya yung for pure
For entertainment.
entertainment na lang. It's really more for immersion and for the experience itself.
Yeah, so Norms, to wrap things up, may we ask you for an advice to our listeners and our viewers?
Find what it is that you like in games
Right.
in the first place. What make
Mhm.
you like games? Tapos latch on to that. Reason being, yun kasi magiging compass mo in the industry while you're in
Yep.
it, when you get onto it.
Mhm.
Um, so say for example, you're coming in as an artist. What do you like games? And one thing you may like about games is seeing vistas, seeing
Mm.
expansive environments. And if you're an
Right.
artist, you might want to take the route of an environmental artist. So you're the one conceptualizing the composition of the whole space in game. So you set the mood in terms of environment, how it would look, that sort of thing. And you like seeing cool animation, and
Mhm.
you may not have any knowledge animation right now, pero maybe yung kagustuhan mo dun sa aspect na yun ng games would open a door for you and make your interest be the key for you to learn this stuff. Right? So you become an
All right.
animator, either 2D or 3D. So
Mhm.
yun lang, know what you like about the games that you like and why you like them. Para sa akin at least, that would be the compass that would guide you, traversing this multi-road industry that is game development.
Right. And add ko lang din yung sabi din ni Norms kanina, no, learn to take calculated risks.
Risks.
Well, since sa atin kasi sa Philippines hindi pa ganoon ka-open when it comes to game development. So inisip nila baka it's not practical for me to go into that industry. Pero as we have seen naman with our guest today, in addition to having fun or enjoying what you do,
What you do?
it's really a lucrative
Mm-hmm.
industry.
Pays
Kumbaga
well.
quickly growing. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
of course, yan,
And
it
Billion
also pays well.
dollar
It's a
business.
billion-dollar
yeah,
business,
Business.
'di ba?
yeah,
And just to share din yung mga games ngayon, they're not just really for those who want to entertain themselves sa corporate setting.
Mhm.
Yung mga trainings namin actually, we started gamifying it. Yun yung isa ko na-notice.
Mm.
Sabi ko, kasi I've
Yep.
been in that same industry for also 10 years. So
Mhm.
yung pagpasok ko doon, yung mga trainings namin, alam mo yun, yung parang text-based lang na read this, watch that. Very boring.
Mm.
So kami parang, sige, for the sake of just completing this, sige, pasadahan na namin. Pero lately, nakikita ko, sobrang interactive na siya. And
Mm.
parang naglalaro ka na rin ng games in a
Mm.
corporate setting.
Mm.
So minsan, pag nakita siguro ng mga manager, naglalaro ba yung, ano na yun, yung employee na yun? But really, he's taking a training or he's taking a refresher course. Mukha lang siyang game. The experience itself is gamified na.
Mm.
And may mga interaction na rin as if you're also playing a
Mm.
game. Diba? Ganun siya. So, yun yung na-notice ko. Parang it's
It's
starting to,
evolving kasi
it's starting to become like a training
in a lifestyle.
platform or in a lifestyle. So, hindi na lang siya for the mere entertainment of it. It can also be used to conduct trainings, which I think more effective kasi mas engage yung
Mm.
yung person who is
Yeah.
taking the training.
In the VR space, by the way, and the market is huge, especially in the European countries, training for hazardous jobs are actually being
Mm.
gamified so that you experience it, and the medical field as well.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
segues to one point as well, like that I could leave before we end the conversation. You're not right now. I've seen that you're even less bound in the Philippines in terms of projects. If you know where to look, you will find projects that are not even offered here, but are open to you.
Mm.
So LinkedIn, these job sites,
Indeed.
they offer may mga job offerings dun based elsewhere. Like these are remote game jobs. And that's
Right.
one website, by the way. A remote game jobs
Mhm.
Remote
is
game.
a website. Yep, that posts job openings for game-related freelance jobs. Some are even permanent jobs that could need you,
Wow.
to be relocated, or just a permanent job na remote. So if just update your portfolio or put yourself out there, your CV, just try and look for those opportunities if you want other avenues. Like it or not, here in the Philippines, there's only one studio that is AAA, and that's Ubisoft.
Mhm.
And there are
Ubisoft.
a couple
Yep.
of a couple of studios that are offering AAA assignments as an outsource. One of them is Secret Six. I have a few friends there. Pixel Mafia, doing 3D art for projects like The Witcher, Star Wars. Try to find them,
Right.
those
Yeah,
opportunities.
so for our listeners, no, so shinare na ni Norms where you can start basically, no. So those sites na minention niya, if you want to be in the same industry, go ahead and check those out. So sabi nga ni Norms, diba, they have offerings, they have projects available if you're up to it. So yeah, you can check it out.
If you want to see like the creative project that I was involved in that alpha stage lang. Hindi ako umabot sa release. Pero because I was only in Japan for like 6 months and only spent like 5 months in that project. But yeah, you can look up Dot Heroes. Haba na title yan eh. Hindi ko alam ba't ganun sila mag-title. Pero Dot Heroes craft card game. So it's on YouTube. People are trying it out. The Japanese people at least, because it's only available in Japan, like I mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see there, drawing sila ng character nila, tapos try nilang i-scan, tapos lalabas siya, tapos depende sa kulay na ginamit mo, dun magdedepende yung attributes niya, like yung power. Yung pati element, may elemental siya, like red is
nice.
weak against blue, parang ganun. So, yeah.
Sobrang na talaga ng games ngayon, no? On top of being creative, ang dami ng yung ideas before na you thought wasn't possible with the technology that we have then. Kasi before, di ba, we're just playing on the family computer. Di ba?
Yeah.
All we can do is run and jump.
Enabled ka sa mga ganun kasi you have a powerful device that fits in your pocket. You know, it's the smartphone.
Right.
You can do a lot with it. So that's
Yung mga phones natin, they have become consoles by themselves, to be honest. It puts everyone into on the same level na regardless if you're a PC gamer or you're a console gamer, basta meron kang mobile phone, you can engage with other players around the world. Kasi before, available lang yan kung meron kang, let's say, PC or meron kang console, whatever. Ngayon, basta you have a phone, you have internet, play with people all around the world.
one thing pala na parang lesser known about like as with any other job, it takes a lot of your time. So do not be surprised if you get into this industry and then you find yourself suddenly, even though you are a game developer, you find less time to play games. And
Time to play games.
it's a struggle. It's a struggle because especially if you're coming from a design background, it is a must that you're up to date with the current implementations of game design concepts
Right. Oo.
that are out there.
Tama.
So yeah, it's a struggle. But, don't be.
The
it's
irony.
It's irony. Ironic talaga. So,
Parang
yeah,
oh,
comes with the occupation.
being in the game dev industry and made me play less games.
Kaya sa bata ka pa lang, maglaro ka
Yeah,
na.
oo, tama. Habang we still have time.
Kaya yun yung advice niya sa
Right,
younger
oo,
self niya.
tama. Sige. Ayan, sige Norms. Any final words for our viewers, for our listeners?
Keep creating whatever industry you may be on, or wherever you're coming from. Even if you're creating for a job or you're creating for a personal expression, create, make good art, make something. That's essentially one of the things that you will leave in this earth. However much of a dent it would make, it doesn't matter as long as you
Yep.
make something of it.
That's your yung
Don't make
that will be
babies
your
if you
legacy.
can't,
Sabi
though.
nga nila.
Like financially, I would advise against that.
Oo.
Stick to art on paper, maybe.
Art.
I don't know, something else.
Creative.
Alright.
Alright.
So, thank you again.
Thank you, Norms,
Norms.
for ako ang dami kong natutunan. Being a gamer myself, parang ang dami ko pang bagong information na nakuha ngayon,
Ako
especially
naman, as a teacher and an artist also. So, nakikita ko yung other side ng pagiging artist ni Norms. When it comes to, creating crafts.
Oo.
Siyempre, siya digital. And sa music, instrumental siya.
Oo.
So, very inspiring.
Oo. Saka nakakatuwa kasi it's a mix of both tawag dito, parang creativity and intellect in one. Kasi kailangan mo you have to take the technical skills. And yung job ni Norms ngayon, it emulates both yung reasoning skills mo and yung creative skills mo. It's a beautiful combination. Kaya nga yan ng dream jobs ng maraming IT people.
Ayan. So, for our viewers and our listeners,
Alright.
ayan, thank you again for listening to us and viewing us on YouTube. So, that concludes our podcast for today.
Yes, and we hope like us, marami din kayong natutunan and napulot sa ating guest si Norman Olivarez. Yes, my buddy, na isang game designer. Alright.
So, muli, join us next Friday for another episode of
Salamat Biyernes na, starring Kuya P.
and Samurai.
Happy weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.